Okay, so today our guest is Piotr. Piotr is blogger, is experienced JavaScript developer, about 12 years of experience. He is also YouTuber, he is an IT trainer. Yeah, if I think about any activity in the IT world, probably Piotr already did this. Yeah, that's true, and that's really amazing. Today we're gonna talk about, a little bit about the Dino, and we're gonna talk about the trains, about the Vim, about the training juniors. So these topics we're gonna discuss today. So hi Piotr, how are you?
Hi Sebastian, thanks for your invitation to our to this discussion. I can share my experience with pleasure. We can start
Okay.
on your first topic.
Yeah, you know, I read on your blog that you like trains after last year. So what do you think about it?
I spent the whole year on training on trainings. I teach probably more than 200 developers from
Wow.
the whole country. You know, I like education, I like teaching, and this is probably my next hobby. But when you are the full-time trainer, you spend more time on train or on the other city that where you live, because I have a lot of workshops, so I spend a smaller time where I work as a developer with my family. I spend probably, I don't know, 30% of time where I usually spend, you know, more than 60. Weekends are in my past are fully on the workshops. So yeah, sometimes it's hard how much your time is spent to prepare materials, prepare projects, and your time during your workshops where you talk the full day. Yeah, so 8 hours you talk about everything that you know about topics of that workshops. Yeah, I make a lot of topics.
And Piotr, what's your favorite topic?
My favorite topic is JavaScript, pure JavaScript. When I have in my past, I have a lot of experience with pure JavaScript, and I create a lot of application with pure JavaScript because as you mentioned, I worked 12 years in. So at the beginning, we don't have any frameworks, so we don't have Angular, React, and so on. So I should create pure application with pure JavaScript or create my own framework. Yeah. So at the beginning, I create when I learning JavaScript, I create something similar to framework, but this is only some snippet of code where after a few years I delete it because it's.
So now you are not so happy about this quality code.
You know, this is funny, but when I create code at the beginning of my career, I'm very proud of this code. Yeah, you know, I think that this code is the best on the world because I create that. Because you know, I thinking about everything. It works everywhere, and of course this is not true. Because this code had a lot of bugs of performance and so on.
Yeah, but you know, the perfect code is the code that will never exist.
Exactly. The perfect code is empty blank file, you know.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so you like to train the most the pure JavaScript. And last year you spent as a trainer, but after that you decided to get job as a programmer. It's right?
Yeah, exactly. In current year, so 2020, I start working in Sumo Logic as a senior developer, because past year was the year when I create code which was used only in fake projects. That project doesn't exist on production and so on. So I don't, you know, I stop my experience as a developer with who create a new code, and and can deploy this code and testing and so on. So yeah, I think that my idea, which I spent the full time teaching other developers, it's probably it could be tweaked. So from January 2020 I start working as a developer, and if we don't have any problems on the whole world, I will create workshops in, of course, smaller amounts, because it's impossible to have 3 days per week where I be on the train, when I be on the workshop. So but I love working, but I love teaching. So maybe in future, where I had more free time, so I will figure out how to organize some workshops longer than 1 day or a few hours.
Okay, and what topic would you like to learn, or train people?
Yeah, I have more than 20 topics where I'm prepared materials. I prepared materials for JavaScript on different levels and different parts of JavaScript. I prepare a few workshops about Angular, Node.js. So yeah, I love performance. I love legacy code. Of course, teaching how to work with legacy code. I love design patterns and so on. So yeah, I have a few topics where I can start workshops from tomorrow.
Okay. So it's like you have plan already in your head.
Exactly. If situation will be more positive and we reduce this number of problems that we have now because of COVID-19, so maybe I will have more workshops.
I hope the situation will change, and it's changing now. So I guess in 2 or 3 months it should be quite good for us, to aggregate a bunch of people in the small area and teach them, because it's always amazing event to go out, to meet the people, to talk about the technology.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know it's just a matter of time, but no. I visited and I saw a few of your tutorials on YouTube, and then I realized you use some kind of plugin in your WebStorm that helps you write. Am I right? Is it a
what?
Vim plugin? Do you have the Vim plugin?
Maybe in my past I use Vim plugin because I work about half a year on Vim. I prepare nice environment for Vim. I install a few plugins that they help me when I use only a Vim. But I spent so many time that my experience on Vim, it's that I can create software only using Vim, but sometimes it's hard to resolve conflicts, to searching some string in the whole project, to see some tips, because editor can display some tips where you write a code when you type a dot. Next, editor will display a few of autocompletion. Yeah, exactly. So
I know, but you still use this Vim plugin or not?
No. Now I use a few editors because I love Visual Studio Code, because it's so.
Me too. Honestly, me too.
Exactly. Yeah. But on one thing, I switched to WebStorm because resolving conflicts, I resolve conflicts probably every day. So where I where I should resolve conflicts, I open WebStorm and spend some time resolving resolving conflicts in that editor. And of course, sometimes when I only open single file and switch, I don't know, one thing, maybe disable or enable some line. So I use Vim. So I change directory to correct directory. I run Vim from on one file and do what I should do and close it immediately.
So you are this kind of guy that know how to close the Vim.
Yeah, of course, double V.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of people that believe Vim when you know how to exit from one. So
No, of course this is a joke. This is we in JavaScript community we have the same joke with jQuery, because on Stack Overflow it exists question how to add two numbers with jQuery. This is this is a nice joke, but of course with Vim you are the full Vim developer when you use magic commands, when you use buffers and tabs and other stuff that we have in Vim. Yeah,
I asked you about this Vim plugin because honestly I use also the Vim plugin, and I also abandoned the Vim because of the same reason that you just mentioned. So for me it was quite difficult to to extend the packages. It's not like it's impossible, but Vim is a really powerful tool for me, but honestly, like the environment like Visual Studio Code this is the modern environment, and TypeScript is natively supported in Visual Studio Code. So this is the reason why I decided to jump there. And also, it's like I don't need 100% of functionalities from the Vim, because the Vim plugin gives you, I don't know, 20%, but this is the 20% that you really want to use. So that's why I decided, to stay with the Vim plugin.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, what do you think? How should look like the heaven for JS developers? What should, what should be there and what shouldn't be there?
Oh, it's a funny question. In JavaScript community, we have a lot of tools, a lot of ideas, a lot of patterns that were so popular sometimes, and they probably, in my opinion, create some kind of religion, because we have React as a, of course, library for the UI, but behind React we have the whole React stuff, and on the top of this community is Dan Abramov. Probably is the this is a god for React community, and for me it's funny that people, probably the juniors, are they are only focused on on this guy and so on, but we have a lot of nice ideas behind the frameworks, behind Angular, behind Vue, Svelte, and so on, and people probably ignore that there because it's hard to learn everything. I know about that, and I know that in JavaScript we have something like JS fatigue. This is an idea that we are tired about learning new stuff and tired to create starting a project. We should configure a lot of tools to start create a project, any front-end project. And I know one joke about that, when it's on the hackathon, two developers talk to each other, and one of them start screaming that after 7 hours he was ready to use Webpack because the configuration was done. Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but it's true. Configuration of Webpack and other module bundlers, probably at the beginning it's so hard that people gave up. Yeah, so
yeah, I can imagine. I saw today the presentation about Ryan, the author of the Node.js, and
Ryan Dahl.
yeah, dokładnie, Ryan Dahl, and 10 things that he regrets about Node. It was quite interesting. Have you seen this?
Yeah. I saw a few months ago. This presentation was from 2018, where Ryan started thinking about Dino.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with him, because he talks about the core ideas which are on Node platform, and they are hard, and that they generate more problems that we can have without probably package JSON, without npm, without callbacks as a default solution for asynchronously, and so on. Yeah, I know that Ryan is the awesome developer. His potential of imagination, and he creates software that it's so modern, and the Dino as a new project of him. It's for me it's the perfect solution for modern application, where we have TypeScript as, of course, a standard, because today every big application should be big or small, but every web application should be created using TypeScript. So Ryan prepared a super solution for that. He create with a few other developers. He create a runtime where TypeScript was a default language to compile your software. So it's a perfect way to create a modern application without package JSON, without dependencies, without npm, where we have sometimes a lot of problems with npm. Probably you are familiar with leftpad or other stories where developers managed their packages where they are a dependency of other bigger packages. So it's hard sometimes to use npm at registry.
Yeah, indeed. And I saw that in Dino you can directly import the package from the outside of the project. It's like
of course you can import file from via HTTP protocol. So at the beginning, on the first time, Dino will fetch this file on the file system to cache this file, and after next running, this file will be used from the disk. Of course, when you can start Dino project, Dino process with command clear cache. So anytime when this flag will be defined, you always fetch a new content from this file. So this is a solution to ignore or to not use any package JSON or any other configuration JSON configuration file. So
and also you can just bundle everything to one file. So you can bundle the whole application to one file without node modules, and it's amazing. I for me, the first impression is really amazing.
Yeah, exactly. This is a hard to install Dino. I don't know how when we have the first problems with different versions, because at the beginning, I don't know that maybe authors, they figure out how to manage different versions. But in Node.js, we have some kind of version managers. Yeah, we have NVM, we have N package, and so on. So maybe in Dino, we will have a Dino version manager where we can switch between different versions and switch between support of something, because probably in future different versions will support different. They have different features, of course. So
Yes,
I don't know how to switch Dino from different versions. Of course, now you have one file, which is an executable file, which you can run in the single process. So awesome. But what will be the future of versions? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's also amazing. You can execute the file without network access and also without write permissions. So yeah,
by default. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's like he really learned a lot from the node and then just put everything in the new project.
Yeah, exactly. It's I would like to have Dino 10 years ago or more.
Yeah, but everything has to change, so it's like now is the time for Dino. So have you tried some, I don't know, evening project in Dino or not yet?
I create some testing project and it's available on GitHub. But yeah, I feel that at the beginning, I know that at the beginning of this project, probably the API will be it's not stable and will be changed a lot. So I would like to have some stable version of Dino. Probably in a few months we will have that because of course we have 1.0 version, but I remember, I don't know what exactly version, 1.02 or something like that, where now API was so different than previously. So I don't know what will be the future of API of Dino. Yeah, but I would like to create some kind of project. I have an idea, and maybe in a few weeks I will create something in Dino, and I would like to deploy application and use Dino on production, because this will be the best experience of creating the application using a Dino, because we create a TypeScript application nowadays, so anyone can create application on Dino now, but anyone doesn't know how application will be running on production, how many memory and process will be used when application got a lot of requests and so on.
I guess I'll try Dino in some simple automate scripts that I use on my computer, to do some simple jobs like, I don't know, sort the files or do some cleanups just to test, how it works.
And what is your first experience?
Yeah, honestly, it's like I didn't try it a lot. It's like I ran through, the documentation, I download everything and nothing more, honestly. But today, after this presentation, there's 10 things that the author of Node regrets about it. I decided, tomorrow morning I will take the coffee and just try to do something. So
great. Maybe I will do the same.
Yeah, it might be quite interesting, honestly. So if you have any problems, you just can call me tomorrow. I said, but it doesn't work. Please help me. But
sure.
I'm not the specialist yet, honestly. But I can try to help you, honestly. Okay, so let's go further. Last year you spent as a teacher, and what have you learned then? Because I guess that when you teach people, there is always at least one question in the room that makes you realize, okay, I've never been thinking about it. What was, there were these kinds of situations.
Yeah, probably a lot of. I create always after each of workshops. I have a lot of notes after that. I prepare some kind of project of my notes, and I create the new file on each workshops, and sometimes file after workshops it's so big that I have so long I should spend so many time to a few hours or days to resolve what should I do, what should I answer when student ask me. It's hard sometimes to figure out what the students would like to have from my side, because people, they have different experience, and sometimes people would like to know how create something from different perspective and so on. So I would like to always answer from my experience. So how if I have some experience in topic, I would like to share that from others. But sometimes it's hard because I don't have experience with, I don't know, maybe a Docker and so on. And people ask me how application looks like when you deploy via Docker. And yeah, I said that, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't have an experience with Docker. I focus only on creating code, but yeah, probably other people, other DevOps developers focus how to deploy this application in cloud or yeah, other environments. Sometimes people asking for other tools that I never heard, never use, and it's a positive. It's a good way to learn something new from workshops, because of course I prepare material and I teach other, but where is the time when I learn something? Yeah, so people ask me on a lot of different topics, and maybe I will open one of my note from one of workshops, and I will read exactly what was the question. Yeah, this is a typical question: how to because sometimes of course workshops are for correct for exactly version of Angular, and people ask, so they use the previous version or more versions behind the current, and how to upgrade their application to current version. Yeah, and this is a hard question, because when I start project, I only start in current, the fresh recent version, so I don't know how to upgrade from maybe 4 to 7 Angular. I don't know, and yeah, it's hard to practice like that, because practice and it's hard to create a solution, an answer for this question, because when I create a few months ago application for version with Angular version 4, it works, and now I create new project with version 7 and it works. But how to upgrade version, I don't know. It's
I don't need this. It's like I don't need this. Yeah,
No, I never answer like that, because people have different projects. Businesses are. Sometimes it's so different than my experience and ideas for.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I teach also React a lot, and it's like I love to teach my students because they're amazing. Sharing the knowledge is amazing, and there is the time of the workshops when I spent 1 week. Because when I'm the mentor, I spent 1 week with them, and if at the beginning I can't stop growing the code in better architecture, because in React it's so easy to build that not reusable components if you know how.
probably when you use inheritance of components, you create like that, you can create the horrible code base.
Yes, indeed. And when there is someone that want to go faster and faster with the code, and I don't see it in the first day, or in the second day, then in the third day I just see the lot of components that are totally mess, honestly. And I try to help, but sometimes the easiest way is to start from the beginning. And I honestly say it, I don't know how to fix this because I've never been in this situation. Yeah. And in this situation, sometimes I just agree with them, you should simply start from the beginning and, start to rewrite it. And the answer is, yeah, but I won't deliver everything that I wanted. Yeah, I know, but you are here to learn. So I hope you will learn that you need to be more patient while you are trying to build your architecture. It's very important. And also, yeah, when I teach and I talk with the people, I realize that, yeah, every mind, every head that sees that the people can see the same thing that you see, but they see this in a different way, and everyone sees this small thing in a bit different way. So when I explain something to someone, it's like, okay, in my head it's a pure, beautiful paint, with a lot of colors, but probably they don't see it. They can't see it at all. They see a few words, few things that I try to describe. So I think this is the biggest challenge to, when it's the biggest challenge when you teach other people, to show this magnificent, beautiful picture from your head for your student, because it's been built. Yeah, you built this in 12 years, for example. So you have lot of knowledge, a very big net. And now it's like the biggest challenge is, okay, go inside my head and teach and learn something. Yeah, so it's the biggest challenge, I guess.
Exactly. Everyone had different experience, so from different side they read our code. So
yeah,
we should share our context. This is the one of the major things from the trainer. So we should share our idea, our context, why we create that code in that way.
Yes, indeed.
It's hard.
Yeah, I also always says that, the program is about the three things: the input, the process, and the output. And no matter what, it can be the class, it can be the whole application, it can be the single function. You should be always focused on the three things: the input, the process, and the output. Nothing more. And
yeah, exactly.
And thanks to that, I try to simplify the task for my students. Okay, but I guess you learn a lot. Am I right?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have some techniques that helps you in learning?
In learning myself, yes.
Yes, indeed.
I prepare test projects on my GitHub. It's the big number of projects. It's enormous list of test projects, so they have prefix tests. So I created that project from a few arguments. At the beginning, I create a new project to separate only this thing that I would like to learn. So I don't know, maybe an Angular. So I create a project with Angular, and I create a few features, and I published this project to GitHub to share this project from other developers, where I can use this project in discussions, and when I use this link, when I would like to answer on Stack Overflow questions and so on. Yeah, so this is my idea for learning myself. Of course, I read books. I watch videos from conferences and so on. So yeah, this is a typical. But now I have a lot of books near my bed. Probably this will be current book.
I have the same.
I am reading in current days. But of course, preparing materials for workshops for myself, for others. This is the best way, because this is a practice. I learn probably anyone that's learn where we can practice something, yeah, where we create some kind of code when we have a bug and we should fix it and so on. So this is the best way to learn something. Of course, we can read the whole books, the whole list of books of software engineering. We can watch a lot of videos on YouTube, but it doesn't matter when you cannot create a properly code, when you forgot how to use design patterns to create strategy and so on. And yeah, so only practice and practice.
Yes, indeed. You know, I call my brain liar because I believe that, I realized after a while that I can, watch some tutorial and I'm really sure I can do it. But honestly, when I try to do it, it's like, oh no, I know practically nothing. And then I had to go back to the tutorial, to the first episode, and try it from the beginning. And without the coding, together with the guy in the tutorial, it's like you think you can, or you think you understand this, but honestly, it's like your brain just try to lie to you, just to to minimize the sources that he needs to work. And it's very important to practice, as you said. But do you use some software to help, to improve this learning process? I don't know, something for notes, for example, some I don't know, mind maps, any.
No, I don't like any tools. I'm guy from past century when I love books, regular books. I love regular notes. So when I read a book, I create notes here, and when I create any materials, digital materials, I use a markdown format to create files when I describe everything what I would like to have in one note about Angular, about JavaScript, about other topics where I would like to learn. So I don't use any tools like mind map or like I don't know, Trello diagrams and so on. I'm not sure that they help me more than regular, typical, pure note in Markdown, because in Markdown, our editors highlight the syntax. So for me, it's perfect when I create a regular header with starting with double hash or one hash, and list starting with asterisk and so on. So for me, it's enough to create materials like that.
Yeah, okay, I understand. And what is also amazing about the Markdown, that you can use the Markdown with Gatsby as a source for your blog posts.
Yeah, I use Markdown as source code in my blog, but I don't use Gatsby because Gatsby probably it's I don't know how many when this project when this project was published, but I use a Jekyll. Jekyll is the tool from the Ruby community, from the Ruby world, and Jekyll is a tool which is used by GitHub by default. You can create a GitHub pages. You can use GitHub pages service to create your blog and other pages like that. But I have a custom blog on my private server where I use a Jekyll, and I use Markdown as a default syntax of each post. And I'm very happy to use it because this project is so simple that using HTML sometimes it's hard because you should always open, tag and close it, and create attributes and so on. But for the blog post, doesn't matter how you create the paragraph, because this is a regular paragraph. We in blog posts, we don't have any magical widgets and fly animals on the page and stuff like that. We have the pure text, maybe some snippets of code will be displayed inside, and yeah, it's probably enough to use the regular markdown for blog posts.
I agree. It's a total minimalistic way, and I prefer this one also. And but another question is about your blog posts, because you have about 140 or 150 blog posts. Am I right?
Oh, I don't know. I will check now. Exactly 178. Yeah.
That's quite magnificent number, man. So how long do you run this blog?
I started blogging in 2011, so 9 years ago. At the beginning, I used WordPress as an environment for my blog, and I used WordPress probably for the 1 year. And it's hard for me. It was hard to create a new blog post, because this blog post was saved in database where I log in only via PHP my admin, and it's hard to edit and so on. Probably this tool was for people who don't know how to create files in correct syntax, and doesn't matter what is an HTML and so on. So they only drag and drop, and they only type words via keyboard, and nothing others are interesting for them. And for me, it's I love creating an application. So when I create a few lines of JavaScript to embed discuss comments, or when I create some kind of tweets inside the blog. So it's funny to create that simple but web application.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer WordPress. I like API in WordPress because it's quite powerful. I have a good experience with it, and I had my blog. It's not so big as yours, honestly. It's like, but it was on the WordPress originally. But then I decided to migrate to the Gatsby, because I like Gatsby, because it just generates, it's like Jackie, just generate the static sites, and then the visitors just can't reach your backend, because it's impossible, because there is no backend, and the backend is in the safe place in other destination. So, and it's
exactly,
and it's amazing fast. So what is the very, very, very good.
Yeah, as far as I know, that in the recent version of Gatsby we have incremental builds. Yes.
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know. But I will Google it for sure.
I discussed with my colleague about Gatsby a few days ago. So probably he told me that we have incremental builds and so on, and other new features in the recent version of Gatsby. I don't know. I'm not sure that it's true, but I know Gatsby is a good idea of creating static pages. Of course, we can use Next.js. This is alternative. We can use Jekyll. We can use Hexo. A few years ago, I created 4 articles about Hexo. So the first article was about how to set up a Hexo and so on. And you can read this article and create your own you can create your own blog on GitHub pages via Hexo. So it's it's nice to have when you would like to start. I encourage my colleague to start blog, and he use my articles and create blog on Hexo. So
great. And about Gatsby, I like that this is the power of the reusable React components and static pages. So for me it's a very good combination. But honestly, my first experience with Gatsby wasn't so good because the errors weren't for me so obvious. Of course, it wasn't a problem because of the Gatsby, but more because of dependencies, npm. Of course,
exactly.
like the same always. 1,000 dependencies, and the problem is somewhere there, deep.
Yeah, of course, because you install one dependency, but you don't know how many dependencies are in this package and how many dependencies they have in dependency of this package and so on.
Yes, and it's one very big net.
Do you know how many megabytes have the node modules when you generate Angular application?
No idea.
300.
Okay.
At the beginning, you only generate application and you have 300 megabytes of software.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, Piotr, tell me please, what makes you bored during your work? What makes you bored when is there something that you need to do and then you say, oh no, I don't want to do it? I mean
probably,
the programming.
Probably updating tasks in Jira.
So it's like you're not this type of the guy, like, I don't know, manager that simply likes to organize all the tasks in the Kanban. No,
I work as a manager 4 years, and I have quite experience in this
area
parts of IT, and updating Excels, updating updating Jira and or other issue trackers. It's so boring. So accepting vacations of my team. It's you should calculate. You should create a schedule for the next few months where they can have more than 1 or 2 days of PTO, and oh Jesus, it's so boring for me that that at the beginning when I start being a manager, I spent the whole day on the meetings, on the Excel, on the documents, updating documents, reading other documents, reading specification, and where is time for coding? Where?
Yeah.
It was a hard time for me, and
so you prefer to write the code?
Exactly, because I love it. I love creating a new code or updating code, create tests, updating tests, and so on. Creating a documentation. I love UML, so I can create diagrams every day. And other things that in software we can do. We should do so, updating tickets and spend time on meetings. Sometimes it's boring because sometimes on meetings we have a few developers, or sometimes it's more than 10 because this is a huge architecture meeting where we discuss about everything, and you spend few hours and to discuss or to discuss something,
Mm-hmm.
nobody create notes after that, and I feel that this is time wasting, because
Mm-hmm.
my time was not
Write
I
it
don't
down.
prepared. I don't prepared. I'm not creating anything after this few hours. So this is unusual. I love creating something. You mentioned about my YouTube channel. You mentioned about we discussed about blog. Yeah, I love creating something. What I know I can create or record video or create article, and I'm happy for that. But
Okay.
when I spend few hours talking or watching video, so yeah, it's
Okay, I understand. And what about your audience? You do it more for yourself, or you have some audience that you just want to please with your materials?
when I was a manager, I create a lot of materials for to my team, for my team, because I would like to teach them on this kind of topic, and I don't have time on work in office, so I return to my home, record video, publish it on YouTube, and nobody knows that this video is help for my team tomorrow. Yeah, so this is a regular typical video, but I spent a lot of time creating videos and blog posts to teaching my colleagues. Now
Okay.
in Sumo it's different, because I work with senior developers, so they I learn from them
Mm-hmm.
some techniques. So yeah, now it's harder than previously, but I'm sure that in a few months I will prepare something to teach them. In Sumo we have on every 2 weeks we have some kind of learning session,
Mm-hmm.
and I prepare free presentations, free talks about design patterns and so on. So probably they were learn a new thing from me. So yeah, I'm happy.
Cool. If you want to share some knowledge, we also just this or next week we're going to open the blog section in our platform. So if you want something post in our platform, we'll be really happy to write there something from you.
Maybe in the future, sure.
Yeah, you can write down all your observation about the second projects in Dino, for example.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, currently I'm writing the article about the hour rate, because the how to talk with the clients about the money, because as a freelancer, this is very important to know how to talk about the money with the clients.
Yeah, it's the hard topic probably for anyone who produce something, because this is strange that you talk about money where you are the producer. You create something, you create software, you create design. My girlfriend is a graphic designer, so we are not the people who are more concentric to salary, to finance, than the our things. Yeah, so I love coding, and when someone in my past asked me, Piotr, maybe we can create projects after our work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, we can do it. So Piotr, how what is your what will be your
Sure.
salary?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so hard question for me. So yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I'm give up, and I'm answer that I create this project for free. So yeah.
Yeah, you do this in the different way, because in the situation when I don't want to do something, I just need the blocking cash that they should pay me, and they say, oh no, it's too much, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I would love to do it, but now my hands are closed. So yeah, this is my strategy, honestly. But also, it's not for the friends; it's more for the clients. And yeah, you know how it works. Normally, when you are busy with the project, it's like 10 other people just wants you, you know, for tomorrow. Yeah. But normally, when you take the vacation and you start looking for another project, it's like, okay, this week nothing, this week nothing, this week nothing, and then bam, again.
Yeah, probably the hardest projects are with our colleagues or with our friends, because you know we discussed about salary, we discuss how when the project will be ready, when this feature will be ready, and so on. So in my past, I create a few projects with my friends, and now they you know, they ignore me, or we are not friends now. So
Oh, yeah, it's sad. You know, I guess it's because the business trust is something different than the relationship trust. It's,
yeah, exactly.
I guess it's totally different thing, because when you trust for someone in business, it's like you trust for this guy. He will do everything to deliver on the time, and he will feel bad when he can't do it, and he know about the responsibilities, you know. But when you have the friends, you know that they can make mistakes, and you trust them, but you can forgive them. And
Exactly.
it's something different than in the business, because in the business you expect the correct output at correct time. In the friendship, it's like it's a totally different subject.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, wrote by the life. Yeah, I guess that everyone has some quite similar experiences in the life. Um, okay, I have one tricky question for you, and what should I ask you that I didn't know enough to ask? Is there some secret hobby do you have? I don't know, samba dancing or some other stuff that it's like I can't find this in your blog.
Yeah, a lot of. You know, after when I work in Polsat, in Cyfrowy Polsat, I work near people who are responsible for videos, for creating videos and programs for television, to television. And yeah, I'm curious how it looks like behind after when they create a video. I'm curious how to create that video, how to sync people, how to create a video file, so which camera, which how it looks like when I would like to record something. And
Like the multiple scenes, that you mean that one
exactly
movie.
how to create that. You see that this is a long video, and but in video we have different cadres, so different scenes. So how to create video like that. And yeah, I saw that they have a lot of people on during the recording. So yeah, for myself, I'm only one more army. So when I create a video, I should prepare my setup around me, and and that's it. So I should spend some time for adjust camera, adjust slides, and so on. And I start record, and nobody helps me, nobody checks me that this is a correct angle of camera, and this is too powerful lights, so I would like I looks strange, and so on. So this is my hobby. So I create videos maybe I would like to create the videos in a more professional way, but sometimes I'm ignore that I have a professional camera and so on. So sometimes I create a video without my head, so only a screencast. And yeah, I'm happy that I create something instead of create video with me. But when I create a vlog, so this is a video where author talks the whole video. So I spent some time to cut this video, to color grading, to add bars, to add other icons and so on. So this add transitions. So this process is so long that sometimes I give up and I'm not starting recording. So yeah, now it's different because when we have pandemic, so I set up I create a full setup of my hardware, and I only switch on camera and other stuff, and click record, and yeah, we can discuss now. We can I create lives, so live streaming every second day on my YouTube channel and other platforms. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter how I will looks like, and probably at the beginning I'm in my past I'm the guy who is focused too much to details. Yeah, I spent too much time to set up so tiny things that nobody knows that it's the thing that you can set up, you can change, and so on. So yeah, I probably
And are you a victim of overthinking sometimes because of
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have the same. It's like sometimes when I want to make something, I just start to how many things I should do perfect, and then I say it's too much. I won't do it. It's impossible for me. But no, but the other guy just came from nowhere, do this in like 5 minutes, and
Exactly.
it's good enough. It's good enough.
Exactly. So yeah, we have some sentence that better is no good is better than perfect, something like that. So
yeah,
we should ignore that this is a perfectionism that is focused on details. We should we are only the people who would like to create something or start something, and so it doesn't matter that everything will be
it's like Aristotle says that when you start, it's like 50% of the ways after you is behind you. So yeah, it's quite important. But yeah, there is the second sentence that we talked today before the interview. Is like it was when something works and it's stupid, it's not stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I guess we shouldn't propagate this, between the people that just start writing the code, because sometimes there is a lot of stupid things and it works, and you ask yourself, how is it possible? It shouldn't work like this.
Exactly. I agree, of course. And sometimes it's hard to don't know why it works, and you spend some time to figure out why this works. And
and I remember myself when I was trying to write some code, and when I think now about this code, it was horrible. It was really horrible, but I couldn't make anything better because I wasn't able to. And sometimes it works, and I didn't know why it worked, but I was just happy. But today it's like I'm more considerate when it works and I don't know why than if it doesn't work and I know why.
And and how to teach others when you don't know, when you don't know why it works. Yeah? It's really hard to teach others. So
because
be a trainer, it's so hard to sometimes,
because it's like they already feel, you know, the taste of the fruit, this result. They feel the result, and they are in this learning process. So they are expecting very fast because there is a trainer in the room. So they are expecting these very fast results. And if it works, and it shouldn't work like this, they are really happy, and they don't bother with this. There is a better solution for this. And why bother with something different, you know, the normal way, if my way works? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really funny, but it's also quite problematic when we try to teach people some good manners of the programming.
Yeah.
But honestly, you and me, we were there a few years ago. Yeah, you more than 12 years. I'm a programmer about 6 or 5 years now, so not a long time, honestly. But yeah, I was there. I remember really good, and everything was difficult for me.
Yeah, of course. At the beginning, you should start thinking as a developer. You know, how it works, why it works, how to break it, why it's break it, and other questions. I'm very happy to see people people who started coding. Yeah, they are not maybe funny, but it's excellent to observe that they learn a new thing and they figure out how to combine this thing with others. Yeah, why is that? Why should we use a terminal? Because we create HTML files, so why we use terminal for what? And when you use terminal, you should spend more time with shell. What is a shell? Why we have bash? What does it mean bash, and so on?
Yes. Yeah, it's never ending story. Like,
exactly, never ending story. And this is a beautiful in our software engineering area, that we can always learning. And if you are on the where you spend some time learning a new thing, you can be a teacher and teach other people which already started, which they start.
Yes, indeed. And I guess it's our last topic for this conversation. I want to ask you about, because you are also the co-founder of Warsaw.js. I guess this is the biggest JavaScript meetup in Poland. Am I correct?
Yeah. This is sure, you are correct. Yeah, this is a good idea. One of my ideas to create some kind of community, maybe to create area where we can learn, where we can teach others. And at the beginning we teach as organizers, we teach others, but in a few months where community was growth, we know more developers, and they are trainers, so they are help others, and and so on.
Yeah, you know, the Warsaw.js is on my bucket list. I want to make a presentation for you there.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I'm quite sure someday I will visit you. But honestly, I heard that there is something like, I don't know, half-year queue there now. It's like
9 months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like in Białystok, you know. It's in Białystok, it's like, hey, you wanna go next month or 2 months, you know, in 2 months. Yeah, but of course we don't have as much people in our community as you. And how many members do you have there?
As far as I know, on meetup.com we have 2,500 members. On Facebook, something near 3,000, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, much more than here in Białystok. But yeah, of course, we have only 300,000 people here, so yeah, it's not a lot. Okay, Piotr. Thank you very much for this interview. I had a great time with you, and I hope I will be able to talk with you and maybe visit you in Warsaw someday.
Sure, of course. I'm very, very thankful for your time that we can discuss about that nice topics. Of course, I would like to. I invite you for on coffee when you arrived to Warsaw, of course. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.